Hey friends, I'm so excited to have our week 3 with a sweet friend, Aubri Geurin, that I met during Jewel training in March. She rocked my world. She and her upline and sweet friend, Vicky, became fast friends. And they are the ones that really were like, Susie, you're missing the boat if you are not watching Bob Heilig. If you are not looking at attraction marketing, haven't you ever felt like you've kind of been through your friend list? There's a lot of opportunity. So Aubri, literally ever since I have known her, I mean, how many times, friend, you're going to have to share, have you been on the leaders board? I mean, like, I'm like, y'all, she hadn't gone off the leaders board. I mean, she's on to something. And so I want her to kind of share. It's a lot. Like, I was like, I might have to start counting for you. But
I think Vicky does.
Just, okay, good. But she is onto something, and she is smart with her time. Like all of us, she is a mom. She has 2. Her husband is in ministry. So she is not doing this 12 hours a day. She's very disciplined, but I want her to just hear her story. It's going to be a story of hope. And I think it's going to get you fired up for an opportunity with Facebook groups that she is just, I continue to glean wisdom from. So Aubri, thank you for kind of joining us for this first half, and y'all feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions, because I really want this to be a helpful leader session. So welcome, my friend Aubri.
Thank you. Like Susie said, I am an Emerald ambassador. I have an Emerald team with Plexus. I didn't get there by myself for sure. They are awesome. I went Emerald in September of 2017, I think, after sitting at Senior Ruby for a very, very, very long time. I got to Senior Ruby, I think, around a year of working my business, and then sat at Senior Ruby for almost 2 years. So definitely, if you feel like you're stuck, you can get unstuck. And I did not make the leaders board for the first 2.5 years of my journey. I started Plexus in January of 2015. Real quickly, my husband wanted to try the products. I told him it was crap. I told him network marketing was a scam, and I was too smart and too professional as a CPA, a certified public accountant, to be involved with that kind of stuff. He convinced me to give it a try. For him, he wanted to lose weight, and I noticed Vicky talking about energy. So don't downplay the importance of people wanting energy. I just thought I was stuck being fat because I'm short and I have 2 kids, and I just thought I was going to be fat. But so I didn't even think I had a chance of being not fat, because I like food. I mean, my name comes from a bread song. Bread, you know, I like carbs. But anyway, the products did help me lose weight. They helped me not to have daily headaches. They helped me not be constipated. Products helped me a lot. But it was a long journey before I could believe in the business. So if you have people struggling to believe in the business, you just got to work with them. You've got to show them that that we have good products, that we have a good company, we have a good compensation plan, and you have to show them that they can be successful, and eventually they'll get there. Because now I wholeheartedly believe in the business and believe it's the best business model on the planet, because it's basically personal development with a paycheck. I have grown so much as a person, and some of the things that I'm going to teach you, I think, will help you to grow as a person and be happier with who you are as a person and the value you're adding to people's lives. So that's kind of my story. The only reason I even started trying to share the business was because my husband had to go to the ER, and I didn't know how we were going to pay for the ER visit, and I was terrified to go back to work. I didn't want to go back to work of a real CPA job. So I decided to give it a try. I did a lot of things wrong in the beginning, but I still managed to find some people to join me. And now that Bob Heilig is teaching us the right way, I just have so much excitement that we will have, you know, more people joining us with the new products and the new training. So I'm really excited. I feel like there's no better time to be a part of our business and our industry and our specific company. So, when I started, I said I did a lot of things wrong. I did tons of cold contact messages, and I had no clue what I was doing. I laughed that some of my team is struggling with putting too much in their messages. And I laughed that some of the people I sent messages to in the beginning are probably still reading them. They were that long. Like, they were bad. So I tell my team, I'm like, I'm trying to help you cut it shorter, but it's not judgment. I mean, I did this. They're still reading some of my first ones because they were like novels. Anyway, felt like I had burned through my warm market. Uh, I felt like everybody knew I was doing Plexus, and they were either sick of hearing about it or they'd already joined me. So in about the summer of 2016, after I'd been doing Plexus for about a year and a half, I just felt stuck. I felt like there was nobody I could reach out to. I just didn't know how I was going to keep going. And I didn't want to quit. Actually, I kind of wanted to quit, but I had this team under me that I was, supposed to be taking care of, and I couldn't do that to them. So I decided I had to do something different. And that's when I started really focusing on expanding my network. I'm a naturally friendly person, but I also have two little kids. One of them is autistic. She's 4, she's autistic. The other one is probably going to be diagnosed with something. He went through a lot of testing, and he's super intelligent, but super high maintenance. So that does not make it easy to just go out and meet new people and just have play dates all the time. I don't know if you've been on any play dates with autistic children, but they don't go well. So my thing was, I'm going to have to figure out ways to grow my business from home on the internet. Now, I still did do some outside networking. I mean, anywhere I went, I tried to make connections with people. And I didn't try to make connections with, oh my goodness, I've got this 2 minutes in the grocery store line with them. I have to tell them about Plexus. Oh my goodness, we're hanging out in the supplement aisle. I have to tell them about Plexus. That was stressful and miserable because that's not the way I work. I build a relationship and then I go from there. So this whole like trying to throw it into these 2-minute conversations or tell my Uber driver or whatever, that's just not me, because I don't push, I don't shove, I share, which is still sales, but it's different. So that wasn't working for me. So what I determined I had to do in person was just try to get people on Facebook. So I would come up with ways wherever I was to get people on Facebook. And my motto is, not my own, it comes from John Maxwell, but adding value to people. So if I met somebody that was new to our area, I would ask them if they were on the neighborhood Facebook page, because the neighborhood Facebook page has lots of great tips. Or the community, the city Facebook page. We have a Ladies of Holly Springs and a Ladies of Fuquay-Varina. That's my town. So I'd ask them if they were on that page. And if they weren't, I'd say, oh my goodness, there's so much great information there. Tell me your Facebook name, and then I'll friend you, and then I can add you to the group. So I'm offering them something of value so that I can start building a relationship based on value and mutual respect and trust. So, and I'll tell you with the attraction marketing, we're going to talk more about that in a minute, but my thought process is I'm not just collecting Facebook friends. My Facebook is going to be a place that empowers and educates and inspires people. And so if I'm adding them on Facebook, their life should be better if they go to my page. And if I post something and it does not fit into that, I should not have posted it. 8-9 years ago, I posted a lot that was not necessarily bad, but it wasn't encouraging and enlightening and inspiring. It was just griping and annoying. So, and I thought I was so smart and so cute with my sarcastic, rude comments, passive-aggressive comments. But anyway, so you may feel like, well, I don't want to just go out and collect friends. That's just disgenuine. That's not authentic. No, it can be authentic. You can make it authentic. You can make it not authentic. If you are doing it in a way that when you connect with them, your goal is to add value to them, then it can be authentic and it can be genuine and it can be very beneficial to you. So everywhere I go, in my head, I'm thinking, how can I get them on Facebook? What can I offer them? What can I share with them? What can I do to get them on Facebook? I mean, even one person I was sitting next to on the plane, we were talking about ADHD, and he suggested a book, and I said, he and his wife, and I said, okay, so obviously I have ADHD, but I'm working with my son, and he suggested a book, and I said, I'm going to forget the name of this book. Can I friend you on Facebook so that when I forget the name of this book, I can reach out to you and you can tell me the name of this book? And so I did that because later, it was such an easy name. I was like, I'll never forget this for real. But yeah, like 2 weeks later, no clue what the name of the book was. But I had saved the guy's picture, and so I could ask him. And anyway, so when I am out and about, which is kind of craziness sometimes with my 2 kids, they make it challenging. But when I am out and about, I do try to get everybody on Facebook. So I joined a networking group in my city. I meet once a week. We do networking together. It's called BNI. And so that's the out and about networking I do. My church, my husband's a minister. I don't prospect actively at church, but I do get everybody on Facebook and then see what value I can add to them. And I try to do a lot of adding value before Plexus even comes up. So anyway, that's kind of what I do outside of Facebook. So now let's focus on what I did on Facebook. It really creeped me out to just friend people that I didn't know. But it really shouldn't, because you don't know them. So you don't care what they think about you. So if they don't accept you, how is it going to hurt you? You're not friends with them. If they don't accept your friend request, you're still not friends with them. So kind of get that past your thought process. And once you've done it a few times and somebody sends you a message saying, do I know you? You're like, no, I just friend requested you because I'm trying to grow my business. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's not what you should do. But you may have felt that way, or you may be worried that might happen. So before you friend people, just make sure you have some reasonable reason to friend them. And what I do now when I friend people, because engagement is a huge thing. So when I go through here's one thing I do. I go through the people you may know. If we have like 15 or so mutual friends, I add them, because most likely they're going to accept that because we have a lot of mutual friends. But I always, if they do send me a message that says, how do I know you? Then I just look at it and say, oh, we don't. I just, I like to connect with local business leaders, and you looked like a fun, happy person. So it's not scary. You just tell them something reasonable and be honest. And if they don't want to be your friend because they only friend people they know, then that's fine. Move on. It doesn't hurt you. The other thing, though, is because of in Facebook engagement, we're talking about you want to make sure that the most people possible see your posts. And Facebook has algorithms. They change them all the time. But the best way to make sure people are seeing your posts is that you are communicating with those people. I believe that private messages get a higher score on the algorithm rating, on the engagement rating. So one thing that I think Bob taught back, I don't know, months ago, was that when somebody accepts your friend request, send them a message. And so I try. I was going through a phase when I added like a gazillion friends, and I didn't do this, and it wasn't as beneficial. But so try to add a reasonable number of friends every day, and then once you see them pop up in Messenger, it'll say so-and-so accepted your friend request, or you are now friends, or something like that. Just shoot them a message that says, hey, and say their name. Names are important, okay? I can tell you, I believe names are very important. My daughter doesn't say names, and just the value when she does say a name, it's huge to hear your name spoken. So I know that people want to hear their names. But so say their name. Say, hey, Susie, thank you for accepting my friend request. I noticed that you are a local businesswoman, and I'm all about supporting local. Tell me more about what you do. Or just say, I'm excited to learn more about each other's businesses. Or I've messaged people before and said, hey, your profile is full of such inspirational things, and I need more of that in my life. Looking forward to getting to know you better on Facebook. Just something super simple that is genuine. If that's not genuine for you and you don't like people, then you might be in the wrong business. But I like people. I like to see interesting things. I like to be connected with local business owners. So I just say something honest. I meet some autism moms, and I always say something like, thanks for accepting my friend request. It is always nice to meet somebody else that understands our specific struggles and triumphs. How old is your daughter? Or, something like that. The important thing is just that you send a message within the first 7 days, I think, of being a friend with them, so that Facebook knows that you're not just adding random friends and you actually want to be connected. Okay, so that's going to come in handy with my discussion in a few minutes about how I use specific groups. But that's one way that I add friends all the time, is just by going through people you may know. And you'll learn that once you get into certain groups, like I'm in the real estate group somehow, like not really, but I have a ton of real estate friends because I've realized that most realtors will accept your friend request because they want to grow their business. And so now I just get realtor suggestions all the time. I think I could throw a pencil and hit a realtor right now. That's how many there are in Raleigh. But I just get lots of realtors. So anyway, you'll start to see a trend. And, I just friend request people that look decent and not creepy. And sometimes I friend request them and I'm like, oh, we would not be a good fit for each other. I don't think that we need to continue this relationship. And then I click unfriend. And nobody's yelled at me for it because they didn't even really realize we were friends in the first place. So that is, oh goodness, I'm on a different message now. Let me go back here. Okay, so I needed to expand my network. I started really working hard to expand it that way, but that still wasn't enough because those people that I was adding, I did add them to a friend list on Facebook after I added them. And so I would go to that friend list and go comment on like their posts and try to engage, but it still wasn't giving me enough return for my work. So I decided to try to use friend groups or use Facebook groups. And the first thing I did was follow some information from Laura Clow, Laura Robinson Clow, I think. I don't remember which name is her current name. She got married. But, I used some information from her, and you can actually go into Facebook groups. You find common interest groups. Like I'm in some autism groups. Those aren't the best because those people are having hot mess lives. So the best groups are things that are kind of like related to health and fitness, but not necessarily things like crunchy moms, breastfeeding moms. Those people are crazy and difficult. You might be a crunchy mom, but you probably know that you are difficult if you're a crunchy mom, okay? So I love, love, love my crunchy mom friends, but they're some of the most powerful people and some of the most skeptical people. So I would say, and breastfeeding mamas, I mean, when I first had a baby, I wasn't pleasant. Some of these people are so much more pleasant than me, but they're still very nervous and skeptical and unsure, and it's just not the best life phase to be trying to find people to be willing to try your products, okay? So be smart with your groups. One of my friends is having a great luck in Disney groups because if you're going to go to Disney all the time, you got to have some money. So these people have money. You got to have some energy and ability to, you got to have some energy to go to Disney. You need some health and fitness. Another one of my friends is having great success in a runners group. I don't run, so unless I'm chasing my children because they're going to the street. So there's too many hills in North Carolina. So I'm not in runners groups, but there are some groups like that. I like to cruise, so I'm in some cruising groups. You could all join some cruising groups as kind of some preparation for what you need to know about going on the Plexus cruise. And then what you do when you get in these groups is you add value. I was under the mistaken impression when I first started that you go into those groups and post about Plexus. And you look for posts where you can answer questions and then say Plexus. That is dumb. And don't do that. Because what you're doing is going in, creating relationships, adding value. So if you're going to be using a group like that, and Susie can help you make sure it's a good group, you want to look and make sure they have at least 10 posts a day. When you search groups on Facebook, it'll pull up groups and it will tell you if they have at least 10 posts a day. If they don't join that group. If they got like 20 people in the group, less than 1,000, probably don't join that group. You need a good pond of people to work with. But if you do join those groups, go in, post questions, ask questions. If people respond, like and comment on their responses. If you have a reasonable reason to request them and continue the conversation, do that. Your goal is not to teach them about Plexus in that group. Your goal is never to say Plexus, honestly. Your goal is to get them on your Facebook, because then we're going to talk about attraction marketing and it's going to help you do the work, okay? So in those groups, just be active, answer questions, add value. Ask for value. People love to share their opinions. Ask for opinions. That goes to your personal wall too, but I'll talk about that in just a second. So anyway, but you can use groups like that. But your goal in person, in the groups, or at least in my opinion, is just get people on Facebook. Okay, just get people on Facebook and then do really smart attraction marketing. So one more thing about groups. The best group thing I've ever done was not my own idea. I got it from Jewel, I don't even remember which one right now, but she posted about doing an exercise group. And I'm not, a fat person, but I'm also not a fitness junkie. And so I'm not necessarily, I have no fitness training. I had PE in high school. That, that's it. Like no fitness training. I'm good at joining gyms and not attending them. So I'm not a fitness person. But what I did was just do what she said. And I said I was doing a bun and squat challenge. A plank and squat challenge. And I posted in some of these groups that I'm active in. So I'd already been active in the groups. And so people saw my post. And I just said, hey, a friend and I need some accountability and we're doing an exercise group. Who wants in? Who wants to join us? And I had a lot of people that want to do it. And now every month I do a new challenge and I get some new people, and it's really just a way to get people. The group itself, I think Susie's in mine, it's super easy to do. All we did was post a number of squats, a number of seconds of plank that you do that day in a cute little graphic. In the beginning, we didn't even post cute graphics. We just posted a screenshot of the one we used blown up. And you don't have to come up with these things. You go search 30-day squat challenge online and you just pick one. Super easy. The two things you got to do, though, you got to do the squats because you're going to be a hypocrite if you're saying, oh, yeah, you're doing so good, but you're doing nothing. And I've been there in a month. In April, I did that, and I didn't feel very good about myself. So saying do your exercises. And don't start with 50 squats on the first day because that will not go well because you have to increase. So just don't do that. I learned it the hard way. But here's how you can work that from the beginning, and you'll probably have more questions, but here's the really important tips about that. Number one, when you post it, tell them they have to comment and send you a friend request. Actually, back to the beginning, make it a closed but not secret group. Don't make it open. Closed. There's 3 types: open, closed, or public is open, closed, and secret. Make it closed. That way you can't add them unless they're your friend, and that's your point, to get more friends. Not because you only care about them for the sale, because you want to add value to their life and find out if they're a good fit for your products or your opportunity. But regardless, you still want to add value to their life and you care about them as a person. But anyway, so yeah, you want to create a closed group. And then when you make your post, say, if you want in, comment here and send me a friend request and I'll get you added. So some people will comply. You'll go ahead, you'll see your friend requests coming in, you'll accept them, you'll write them down, and you'll go put them in your group. Some people will not comply. You'll go comment on their post where they said, oh, I want in, me. You'll say, okay, great, sending you a PM. And then you'll send them a friend request and a PM at the same time. You can do that now on your phone. It's awesome. And you'll say, hey, as soon as you accept my friend request, Facebook will let me add you to the group. And blame it on Facebook so you don't sound creepy. It's like, if you don't want to be my friend, you can't be in my group. So, you just go do that. And then the more you interact on that post, so even once you've added somebody, if they friend requested you, go back and say, added. Because the more you interact on that post, the more people in that group will see it. And this is something you post, go back. Don't post this on your public wall. Post it in these groups because you want new friends. Your friends on your public wall are already your friends. You don't want them. I mean, you love them and you can add them and that's fine. But in the groups you're posting in, like I've had the most success posting it in moms groups, like moms of Apex, Cary, some other cities that we live near. And then if you have friends in there that want to support you, tell them, I'm going to tag you and I want you to go comment on this. Or don't even tag them. Tell them, go comment on my post now to create engagement in this group. Because the faster you get people responding, the more people will see it. And the more you keep responding to it, the more it will bump it. And the more people see it, and the more friends you'll get. I added 400 friends one time in 3 days. And what I did was, like I just told you, go comment on their stuff, send them a message. But every single one of them, when they accepted my friend request and popped up in my messenger, I said, hey, so excited. Hey, their name. And actually, I don't think I did their name the whole time because I got tired of it and there were 400 of them. But I said, hey, so excited for you to join our exercise group. Can't wait to support each other. I messaged 400 people because I wanted Facebook to know that they need to see my stuff. Okay, so then once we get the group going, every day or every other day, how much time you have, go in. And they're going to comment when they've done the daily activity. You just go in and say yay and their name and an exclamation point. Sometimes you might get really creative and put a smiley face, but just go in and encourage them and say something positive. And then Facebook is like, wow, these people really want to talk to each other. They're going to see your posts, and that's a good thing. You want them to see your posts, okay? So Susie has access to all my group, and you can copy any of it you want and give them exactly what I used. I would not do the squat. I would not do the buns challenge I did in June because it was terrible. It's the one that started with 50 squats. Don't do that one. It's bad. Nobody stuck with that. But anyway, and I did some prizes. I also you can copy my pin to post, Susie, if you want. I put in the pin to post, no sales. I wanted people to know that this group was no sales. It would never change and cost money. This was completely free because I wanted accountability, and I wanted to add value and meet some new people. And I have had people, I don't want you to feel like you're doing this and you're being sleazy. I have had people that have thanked me because it's helped them to do their daily workouts, and they're getting healthier and they're happier, and they're not Plexus people. And it makes my heart so happy because, yes, I want Plexus people, but more importantly, I want to make a positive difference in the lives of people around me. And by doing that, some of these people are going to join me at some point. And that's awesome because I think everybody can benefit from Plexus, but needs to be on their timetable. So here's what I do once we've gotten, once the group is going and everything. I don't message those people about Plexus probably for 3 months. If they haven't messaged me within 3 months, I put them on my rotation of people I send my, hey, hey, have you ever tried Plexus? We've got this new pink drink redesigned for hunger control. I'd love to send you a sample. Would you like to try it? Or would you give me your thoughts on it? But I don't even message them. I send that cold message. I probably send about 50 a week to people, but I don't even send it to those people for at least like 3 months because I just want there to be a separation, and I want them to not think that I just care about selling them things. But what happened though is most of the people I made the leaders board with in the spring were people that I'd added for the exercise challenge. They weren't people that I knew before Plexus. They weren't even people I knew before February. And what happened was I was really intentional about my posts. So here's the big deal about attraction marketing. You need to be attractive, but here's how you can be attractive, okay? Number one, we all think that our Plexus posts have to be amazing and they have to attract people. Honestly, it's your personal posts that are attracting people. And this was revolutionary when I realized this. You are adding all these new friends. If you are adding new people that don't know you, they have to know you. They have to figure out a way to trust you. So you have to be intentional about your personal posts being very authentic and genuine. And you need to make sure that you are seen as a trustworthy person. Now, what's the best way to do that? Lives. What's the scariest way to do that? Lives. But if you do a live and not about your business, lives don't have to be about your business. The point of doing a live is to get to know somebody. Like, you can already tell that I'm a little goofy and that I'm kind of passionate about things and that I sound like I'm pretty honest and authentic and I do truly care about people. I want to get that across when I'm doing a live. So I don't care what you talk about. You can talk about anything that's positive and not, negative, but you can talk about anything that you're passionate and knowledgeable about. It's just that they need to see who you are so they see that you're real, authentic, genuine, they can trust you. So I would say I say about 1 live a week. The other thing is when you're writing posts, kind of do a mixture of funny and engaging. Whatever your humor is, use it. Do some posts that show who you are as a person. Show some vulnerability without being creepy. Like, I don't need to post every day about my hot mess mama status, but every now and then I can tell a funny story about how I cooked in the crock pot without putting the crock pot in the crock pot. There's some funny things that you could talk about. And, or, if you're just having one of those days when like your children are painting the walls with poop, you could tell a story about that. But you want to make yourself look good, but you want to make yourself look real. So you want to highlight your positive things, but also, I was telling my mom, if she's going to do Instapot training or whatever, some videos, she needs to show 4 or 5 awesome Instapot things and then show an Instapot fail, because people don't want to think that you're perfect and unreachable and unrelatable. So anyway, all of my personal posts are public, and you are welcome to go stalk my page and see what I'm talking about as far as that. You want to ask questions to get engagement. The best questions are things that are simple that people have opinions about. So things like, what's your thermostat set on? And you could even make it more fun by, the hubby and I are having a disagreement. What's your thermostat set on? And then people want to say, or the toilet paper roll thing, or who can fold a fitted sheet, or, just simple things that people are passionate about and have an easy answer. Don't go ask people for their best recipe suggestions. That requires thought, time, effort. Ask easy, simple questions that people are really passionate about. beauty products are always good, but you will get some people selling beauty products. But people are very passionate about their dry shampoo choices. So, just ask questions. If you're trying to attract nurses, then go ask some questions about things that nurses talk about. Not about vaccines, though. I don't do controversy. Go ask questions that if you want teachers right now, go ask questions about school supplies or school things or favorite app for learning or something that people can easily just come up with and just type it down. Okay. All right. So that's the personal post part of attraction marketing. The Plexus post part is pretty simple. Amazing testimonies without saying the word Plexus. It's very easy. Just take a post and use the word supplements. And I am all about not trying to be sleazy and hide things from people and sneaky. And I'm not saying take out the word Plexus to be sneaky. It's still probably pretty obvious that you're talking about products and you probably sell them. But sometimes people get this idea that they know what Plexus is and they won't read your stuff. And so that's blocking them from seeing the benefit that they could have. So I'm not saying be sleazy and sneaky. I'm saying just don't use the word Plexus so that it doesn't create an artificial barrier to keep them from even giving it a thought. Just change the words to supplements. Use good pictures that show a good before and after. Use good stories that talk about issues that are common to most people. Obviously, try your best to be compliant. But anyway, obviously I would support being compliant because that's important, but figure out ways to tell the stories and talk about the differences in how people feel. Like, not just product balances blood sugar. Well, that's great, but what does that mean? I'm not on the couch at 4 o'clock anymore. I'm not the couch potato mama. They can't do anything. I'm not the mom that stays in bed and just lets her kids go fend for themselves. I'm not the mom that is rating her child's lunchbox for Oreos. That the kid is asking, well, what happened to my candy, Mom? Oh, well, I ate it. I'm nicer to my husband. Talk about the things that people can relate to. And that is what attraction marketing is. So with attraction marketing, one thing I did want to mention, you need to figure out a few key things about yourself. And don't let that paralyze you. And don't be like, well, I can't do attraction marketing until I figure out who I am, what my brand is. Play with it. Ask Susie, ask your friend, ask your upline, your downline. What do you think I'm passionate about? What is it about me that you feel like I have to offer people? A lot of times other people can see it better than you. I went through it with a bunch of my people saying, this is what you could do videos about. This is what you're knowledgeable about. This is what you have information about. This is what you're passionate about. So for me, I'm a mom of young kids, so I do a lot of memes about moms of young kids. I'm a Christian. That's the only controversial thing I'll do on my Facebook because that's not changing. But I don't get into theology and Christian arguments. I'm just like, I am a Christian. That is a part of me. If you want to be a part of this, you got to deal with that too. So, I am a Christian. I like motivation and inspiration. So that's a big part of me. I don't cook. If you cook, awesome. Make that be a part of you. If you're crunchy, awesome. Make that be a part of you. If you're a breastfeeding mama, since I hated on y'all earlier, not really. I didn't intend to hate on y'all, but, if you love to run, if you love to read, whatever it is that you're passionate about, you want to come up with about 3 or 4 of those things, and you want to create, you just want to use that to create a picture of you so that you are attractive, not because you're perfect or you look like Barbie. I'm never going to look like Barbie. I'm 4'10". Maybe like the youngest Barbie, like not even Skipper, like below Skipper. I don't remember, Kelly or something. I don't know what her name is, but you don't have to look like that. You guys are all beautiful, but it's not about being attractive as far as what you look like, but it's about your personality and your heart and your page being attractive. It providing some humor, it providing some motivation and encouragement, providing some information and education, and providing some hope for people. And your Plexus posts fit in awesomely with that because you're showing that there is hope. So anyway, that's That's mostly what I was going to try to cover. That's a lot of information. So now I think it'd be good if you have questions. And Susie's going to put me in your page. So if you have questions later, or if you're watching the replay and have questions and you've made it this far on the replay, congrats to you. But if you're, watching later and have questions, you can ask questions and y'all can tag me. So,
hey, Aubrey, start with sharing how many, when you started the whole Facebook group journey, how many groups did you first join?
I would say that you really only need to join a couple because you can't keep up with a lot of them. I would say maybe find 3. And if you're finding that one of them is, is not really providing much interaction and you're not seeing much potential for adding new friends, then just ditch that one and pick a new one. But I mean, you can go through and think about anything. I had a friend that I said, okay, so our team member, I said, and friend, what are you interested in? And she said, scrapbooking, backyard gardening, and some other things. So we just Googled backyard gardening. And we went through and we're like, okay, this one shows they have 10 plus posts a day. It has this many people. Oh, this looks good. So then she joined that one. So whatever your interests or hobbies are, just something. And you should always, 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 if you have local groups, be in them. And I don't care if you can post about Texas in them or not, because that's not what you're trying to do. You have a city group or a city women group. We have Ladies of Fuquay Varina. There's a lot of good neighbor groups out there. And then just interact in them. I have a note on my phone that I try to go through once, make sure every couple of days I am interacting in those groups. Ask a question. Go find a post that's interesting and ask them some questions. Just try to interact. Just be social in those groups and try to add people as it's natural to add them and say, hey, I really liked your suggestion about such and such, so I wanted to add you and ask you a few more questions. Usually if you've already been communicating with them, they're willing to accept your friend request. And they might not always, but it's a good thing to try.
So how are you balancing your time? So you're putting this in on your IPA, maybe touching the Facebook groups twice. It sounds like you're doing a monthly some kind of event that's they don't have to purchase a Plexus product. This is just about building relationship. Are you changing it up each month?
Yeah, I mean, my exercise
what will
group
August be? Will August be like planks again? I mean, do you rotate it every 3 months?
Yeah.
You kind of.
Now, what we do is basically it evolved because we got to the end of February and my and my group didn't want to end. They wanted to keep going, and so I let them vote on what they wanted to do. For June, around near the end of the month, I was just like, okay, what body part do you want to work on the most? And they just, they kind of voted, and then I went and found what I could find, and we decided on what we were doing. So I just go and Google what they say and just kind of pick something that I think looks good and reasonable, and then we go from there.
So is it the same group, or are you creating a totally separate group?
It's the same group, and what I do is I just go back and in the city groups, and I just say, hey, my exercise group is doing this, and then I give a few details about that I've learned along the way. This is a non-sales group. There will never be a charge for this group, because I got deleted once because.
Uh-oh. Aubrey, I think you're frozen. Oh, there you are. You froze for a second.
Oh.
So you got deleted in the past because there
once or twice. There's one group that I can only last for about a couple hours until the admins catch me, but I get the most comments in there, so I go ahead and keep posting because they've never told me to stop. They just delete me.
Okay.
And that's okay. They can delete me. It's not hurting my feelings because I get some of my best people from that group. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not breaking any of the rules.
So when you look at, when you're on the leaders board, you're adding 10 plus customers a week. I mean, sometimes 20. Are they all coming from Facebook groups, or is it just a mix?
I would say the majority of my people are coming from new friends on Facebook. Okay. A lot of them are coming from, most of them are somehow coming from a group. A lot of them from that exercise group. Some of them just from other groups that I'm in, and somebody will ask a question and I'll answer the question. And a lot of times if they ask a question, I'll respond and send them a friend request. So like in my city page, if they want a recommendation for something, I'll send them a recommendation, but I'll also send them a friend request and say, hey, and just give them some additional information. Like, I'll recommend a company, then I'll send them a message saying, hey, here's their phone number. You can tell them Aubri recommended you and you're a friend. And neighborhood groups, you know, I'm all in my neighborhood. I don't even try to see if we're common friends. I'm just like, oh, they're in my neighborhood, they're getting added. And then I just try to, basically in these groups, I just try to interact like a normal person would that's not selling something. And so I just, you know, I do that. But I think most of them are probably people that are new friends. And a lot of them come, maybe 40% of them come from attraction marketing. Like, I've posted something that they've expressed interest in. A lot of times I'll post testimonies for a while, and then I'll do a who wants a sample post. And they've come to me that way. But I do send about 50 cold messages a week that basically just say, my current message is, let me read it to you because I might tell you the wrong thing. So let me actually read it to you. Hey girl, I say their name, but hope you are doing well. Has anyone given you a sample of the new Plexus pink drink? It's been specifically redesigned for hunger control, exclamation point. Hallelujah hands. I'm doing a blitz to spread the news about this amazing new product, and I'd love to send you a free sample and get your thoughts on the new taste. I'm sending that to you right now, Susie.
I love it. I love you.
And I
was trying to write it down. I was like,
no, I'm sending it. I should have told you that. I like that one because it's, you know, I'm half yellow at least, and my goal is to add value and not harass people. And I feel like if I'm messaging you, but I'm offering you a free sample, you can't complain too much. You know, I mean, if you're going to complain that I'm offering you something free, then you just need to go have a Devo and get right with Jesus and quit being so cranky. But I don't usually get rude comments. I get a lot of people that have ignored me many times in the past. And then I also, I'm driving one of my top A team members crazy because she's doing more samples. And she's like, okay, so you follow up within 3 days. And then if they don't answer in 3 days, then you follow up again. I'm like, no, I have a list of people I've sent samples to. And, you know, every couple of weeks I might go through that list and message those people, ask if they've tried the sample. Those are the people that I send invites to events to. Those are the people, like Facebook events and local events. Those are the people that I send information when there's a special. But I don't follow up like a crazy person just about the sample. I just follow up kind of relaxed. And eventually, because I send out a decent number of samples, probably about 5 a week. Maybe 5 to 10 out of those 50 people, you know. More like 5 probably. And so, I mean, I am investing in the samples, but I feel like it is a good investment because I just remember Timmy Yancey talking about that she gave everybody, including all the cashiers at Target, a sample. And that was how she grew her business, was by giving samples. And I do think people want to taste something if they're going to spend $80 on it. You know, it's not the same as a bottle of BioCleanse. I mean, a pill tastes like a pill. That's not a big deal. But a drink, you know, so I figure. And then I don't feel bad inviting them to events because I gave them something free.
Oh, I love
that. That's my approach. Some people don't want to give samples. They get cranky because the people get a sample and they don't do anything. I'm like, well, some of my people don't do anything for a year. But it's a foot in the door. My goal is always to add people on Facebook and like get on their porch with the door open. That's where I want to be. Because eventually, if I get that door open, eventually we're going to be hanging out on the couch and they're going to be enjoying their new website.
Exactly.
But not, I mean, just have to have patience and not freak out and trust God's timing. And you have to do massive activity. And I hope that's what you've seen, is that there's nothing amazingly special about what I'm doing. I mean, really, it's just I am very purposeful. If I'm on Facebook, I'm not playing. I don't go message my friends and play on Facebook. I just don't. I mean, I go and I work. So I have my list of people that I'm like this morning before I got on this, I was following up with all of my drip lists from the last four months. But I was just going to that list and I was just commenting and liking their stuff. It's always best if you can comment with a question because you'll get that interaction going. But sometimes I'm lazy and I don't ask a question. I just say, oh, how cute. But if you really, really want to work that, you can ask a question like, Oh my goodness, what kind of dog is that? What a cute baby. Where did you get that dress? Ask a question. You know, but all I'm doing really is expanding my Facebook or expanding whatever social media you have, making good posts and building relationships. And then at some point, I'm going to ask them if they want to try the products if they don't come to me. If they come to me, I always send them a third-party tool. I learned that from Bob. I don't explain any of the products anymore. I send them one of the videos from the back office. The Joyome, I use the science of Joyome. You can Google that on YouTube, copy, paste the link. And the Slim, I send either the Triplex or the Slim HC video. Currently, I think I'm going to send the Slim Lean video that they just made. It's that one of the Jules just posted it. It's awesome. Do you have it, Susie?
I don't know that I've saved it yet. I mean, I've been trying to put in my notes section the product line. I'll have to go back and
where
look.
It was? Okay, well, if you can't find it, tell me, I'll find it.
Okay.
It's on, yeah, and it's some Jewel that put the Lean and the Slim together. Because I've learned that, number one, Bob says if you're explaining the products, then people will think back to that and think, well, I could never do that. And number two, a lot of times you're not that great at explaining. I think I'm pretty good at explaining, but I think the product video is just more powerful. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I love it. It's helped me so much with appetite control. Here's a short video. And with the Triplex, I used to say, here's a short video. I promise it's only 1.5 minutes, even though it's called the long one. Sometimes I'll say it's short, like me, I promise. So, anyway, when you're following up, I'll throw this in there. When you're following up with samples and stuff, don't write a long follow-up. You're just trying to ask the question and get them to respond. If they don't respond to, usually I say, hey, what'd you think about the sample? If they don't answer, it's probably because they haven't tried it yet. So I say, hey, it's okay if you haven't tried it yet. You can actually, if they don't respond the first time, I'm like, hey, did you get the sample? Because some of them disappear in the mail, and I want to make sure you got it. They'll usually answer that. And if they don't, then you can just say, hey, it's okay if you haven't tried it. I wanted to let you know. I forgot to let you know that you can take it any time of day. It's just to know the taste. I only send one sample. I don't want to send enough for them to think that they can see if it works or not. And if they think that they can tell if it works with one stick, then they're crazy anyway. But I only send one. So, okay. Any other questions? Those are kind of my random thoughts. But the stuff you wanted wasn't necessarily linear. So I tried to.
Okay, y'all ask questions. This is a great time.
How do you keep all that organized, all those lists? Like 400 people, like how do you keep that in some fashion where you can actually maintain that?
Okay, so I've got a couple of ways. One way, I actually wrote them all down that time. So I have a notebook that has all of those people written down that I kept up with. And then I put a lot of them on a drip list on Facebook. I call it a drip list because that's what we call it, but it's just a friend list. Susie, you know about those, right?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, Amanda's our techie, so she's
awesome. So I put them on a friend list on Facebook, and that, friends from new friends or drip list August or whatever would be people that new friends that I've added in July. But the other thing that I do is when I'm actually in the process of prospecting them, once I send them a sample, well, I have an app called Errands, ERRANDS, Errands. It's a little blue, see the blue box with the check mark?
Oh, yeah.
58 or something that I to do today. I've been using that since before I even started Plexus, and I use that to keep up. You can have a task and then have sub-tasks in there that you can check off. And so from the moment I give them a sample, I have a tab or a task that says samples, mail samples. And so I go copy paste their address and their name into that task. And once I have mailed that sample, I copy paste to a new tab called follow-up samples. And then once I follow up, or once I get sick of them not responding, I copy paste that over to a funnel, and they just stay in funnel until they sign or die, basically. That sounds bad. I just had a friend die. That's probably not a good comment anymore. But until they sign or get a restraining order. So I always have a list of people that I'm mailing samples to, people that I'm following up with from samples, and people that are in my funnel. And so that's how I keep track of all those people. The new friends, I try to put in two places. I try to write them down. And then I also try to put them on a friends list on Facebook. When it was the 400, I don't think I put them all on Facebook. I went through and tried to pick out some of the ones that I thought were the most likely to be good prospects. But honestly, the ones I focused on were really the ones that commented in my exercise group, because those were the ones that I was interacting with every day. But I have a note on errands. I also have a weekly reminder task that tells me to write down new Facebook friends. And I used to keep them in a planner, but I kind of don't like any planner because it doesn't have spots for as many things as I need on it. But if you do this on a regular basis, like, I mean, I'm saying I send out 50 in a regular day or in a regular week, I probably send out 50 cold messages. I probably only follow up with samples like once every other week. I always try to follow up with those people when we're having an event, but we only have an event once every other week or once a month. We're bad with events, but we're working on it. And then I spend 20, 30 minutes, you know, on my friend list, just commenting and liking and engaging and all. So it's really not, I spend time, you know, getting samples ready and stuff, but it's really not overly time consuming. It is time consuming when you first announce a new challenge group, because you are having to write down all their names and add them to the group and send them messages. But that's just kind of a thing I do at the beginning of the month. And then during the rest of the month, all I'm doing is adding people I may know, or if somebody asks a question and I want to connect with them from a group, then adding them. But that's pretty easy. It doesn't take a lot of time.
Are you focusing just on Facebook, or are you also doing Instagram?
Eventually I'm going to do Instagram, but right now I get such good results from Facebook that I just don't have a need to move into Instagram. I do have an Instagram account that I try to post on every day, but I have not flexicized it whatsoever yet, because I want to think about how I want to do that before I actually start doing that. So I do have some great people that you can follow if you want to do Instagram, but you know, so I've been learning a little bit about it. The same, you know, if you're going to work on branding yourself on Facebook, that is even more important on Instagram. Instagram is all about branding, but it's not necessarily all about perfect looking pictures. It's still about being you and finding people that relate to you. So I am working on the personal side of Instagram, but I have not gone into actually using it for Plexus yet. Eventually I will. I keep thinking I'll get there, and it's just not happening yet.
I know that'd be great.
Yeah. So far,
okay, what other questions?
Eventually, I'm going to do a video on how to use errands, but I have to figure out how to get, maybe with my new thing I just won from Bob, because I have to record myself using the phone with another phone, and so
I did just download it, and I will need some tutorials. But you mentioned that you're in a BNI group, and I was asked to join one. I guess it was the beginning of June, and the timing just wasn't great for me, starting with summer and once a week. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because it's not completely off the table, but I was just hoping to find other avenues to get out of what the BNI group was giving me. I didn't think it was $700 was a lot of money for me to invest, and that's how much it was going to cost.
Mine was like 5 something, and it was worth it. The first year was tough because they have to get to know you. You know that in this business, it's a lot higher risk than selling somebody a handbag or a candle. I mean, if you sell somebody a candle they don't like, they can just throw it away. It's not a big deal. If you sell somebody health supplements, you know, they might think you're going to screw up their body. So they have to trust you before they're going to recommend you. And it really just, it's worth it if you have a really good group that's focused on getting referrals by helping other people get referrals. It will open up avenues to you of people that have money that are not currently in your network. And that's the benefit. If you find that your current network is if you're just having a hard time attracting people that have the money to do something, then it's probably worth it. For me, I needed to expand my network beyond just people like me. I needed to find some business owners. I needed to find some people with power and influence. And if you have a group of people that have that, then it's worth it. But I really can't speak to your
I can't hear you now.
membership, and a lot of us, Jules, that have done BNI groups, you won't get the same out of a group that's not exclusive because they don't have the same obligation to you. The fact that they can't recommend other health supplements or they're violating the ethical codes, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But some of them will do it anyway.
And how long have you been in the group?
I'm about to pay my renewal for my 3rd year. So it definitely, you can, but really the way that you're going to get referrals is by giving as many referrals as possible in the beginning. You want to give value to them, and then they will start to give value to you. And you want to not focus, you want to focus more on getting them to trust you than just trying to sell the products. And you cannot market for the business. They will not allow that. It will just be the product side. But I have gotten, but they can still sign as ambassadors, as wholesale customers. So especially if you get a chance to connect with some industries that y'all could work well together. And it really just depends on who's in your particular group, if that's a good partnership or not. So you might tell them that you're thinking about it, but you need to come to a few meetings and just see what it's like. Did you go?
Yeah, I went to about 3. One of my customers is a realtor, and she invited me to the group.
Okay.
So I went and visited about 3 times, and I did enjoy it, but my hesitations were, financially, because that was a lot.
Yeah. They will do, some of them will do payment plans, so you might ask about that.
I asked. They did.
They won't do it.
No, and then the time commitment was an issue. Once a week at 8. Now, starting in the fall, that wouldn't be an issue. I'll be already going that way, taking my kids to school. So that would not be the problem. It was just starting in the summer. And then it's kind of hard to follow how they want you to do. It's not like a lot of lunch meetings outside of the actual meeting. And, I just was like, I have a hard time just scheduling lunch with my friends, much less with all these
well,
people.
you just have to decide if it's worthwhile partnerships. If you think that there are people if you think that they will be committed to helping you find good referral sources and that you can provide good referral sources for them, then it's worth giving it a shot, and it can be very successful. If you're not really struggling with your network, then
okay. Well, I'm just looking for new people. Now I already did get several customers from just those 3 meetings. And then I'd even referred people to them after the meeting. So, it started out well. It was just the timing.
I would pray about it and just kind of see what God is telling you to do. It is a big decision, and I think it helped me get to Emerald. So.
Aubri, talk a little bit about, we've just started doing Bob podcast, so that's kind of where we are. At what point did you kind of say, I want to do more and do like his, when did you kind of take that jump, and has it been worth it? Doing like his leadership?
I think it might be worth it for you, but not necessarily all of them, because you could share a lot of the information with them. I don't think everybody needs to pay the $50 a month. If you're hardcore, you really are going to take the time to watch the videos and learn from him. He's a genius. He annoys me. I think sometimes he comes off as arrogant, but it may be that he has to do that so that people will listen. I'm not sure. He's very blunt, but as far as, I'm willing to put up with it because he knows what he's talking about. I'm a very analytical person. I make decisions based on my heart, but I'm very analytical. And he knows what he's talking about. He doesn't just tell you to do something without there being a reason for it, and it's very reasonable based on what's successful in network marketing. And he knows how to do is break down network marketing into components and teach you how to do those components. He knows he's explained things about the onboarding process in a way that my training with another leader, another person that I won't bash other people, but we used another network marketing professional trainer, and she never explained some of the things the way that he did. Just the idea of how to get new people started from a psychological standpoint of what you need to tell them to not run them off and to not scare them and not overwhelm them. I mean, he knows what he's doing. His training is invaluable. If you're going to, I mean, don't pay the $50 a month if you're not going to put in the time to watch his videos and learn from his information. If you are, I would definitely say somebody from your team needs to do that and needs to learn and share with the others, because he's very good at taking what all the leaders have taught about network marketing and systemizing it so that anyone can do it and be successful. Now, I don't agree with everything about the way he does things, but I agree with his basis for pretty much everything he says. He does put his information where his mouth is, I guess, basically. He's very intelligent, and he's very good at taking it and simplifying it so that we can understand what that means for our business. And there's actually a group of Plexus people, Susie, that are in the Leadership Academy that you can learn from. Yeah. And we're working on the systems right now. Like, he broke down, he said, if you have these 5 systems in your business, and if these systems are tool-based and not people-based, and they're clear and defined, you will be successful. And the systems are prospecting, onboarding, presentation, recognition, and leadership. And if you can take those processes and break them down and have a clear-cut path for everybody that joins you and for your team, you will be successful. And I agree. One of the things we didn't have was a good prospecting process. But with the tools that he's given us, we're going to have a good prospecting process, and it's going to be successful. So I think he's awesome. If he annoys you, it's okay, because he knows what he's talking about.
And I'm good at that as long as I'm getting nuggets. Like, I don't have to,
I think it's just because I'm yellow and I'm like, whoa, you're harsh. Sometimes people need harsh. But he kind of jumps sometimes, but very good information.
Yeah, we've enjoyed the podcast, just kind of dipping into that and just trying to identify our 5 pillars.
He's not just filling you with, he's not just talking because he likes to hear himself talk and he thinks he's so awesome. Like, he actually does provide valuable content in everything that he does.
Well, Aubri, you are so awesome for coming here and joining us today. This has just been so helpful. And I wanted, part of the joy for me in that Jewel training was just the connection and getting to know others and being able to kind of sharpen one another and ask questions and grow. And I'm so blessed by you and Vicki. Y'all really opened my eyes and just kind of encouraged me, like, you've got to look into this. And I just thank you for coming on and sharing with them. I wanted them to hear from you, be able to ask questions. So I appreciate your time.
Well, I hope that it was helpful. I know I gave you a ton of information. So as you're starting to figure it out, please ask questions. You can tag me in this post. You can tell Susie and she can message me. But yeah, ask me questions. I love to share. I get kind of busy and overwhelmed sometimes, but we all do. And I will definitely answer anything I can in a reasonable time frame.
Thank you so much, friend.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for joining. Okay, y'all stay on for just a second. We'll just wrap up our accountability. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, though. There, so it will